Hey everybody, I want to spend some time today talking about tables. We run into tables all the time on every problem, but we don't really spend a lot of time thinking about tables in and of themselves. And there was a post recently from Enterprise DNA member Ashton, who always comes up with good questions, thought-provoking questions. And it kind of got me thinking about a pattern that I see pretty regularly and wanted to address in a video and have for some time. So it wasn't a mistake he made, but it's a common mistake I see where I'll get a post that'll say, to take something like this and enter it into the modeling tab. And then the post will start off saying something like, I'm having trouble with this virtual table. And in responding, the first thing I typically say is, well, that's not a virtual table. And it sounds like a semantic quibble, but it's not. That there's real distinction between the types of tables in Power BI. And kind of the analogy I would give is if somebody said, hey, I've recently adopted a dog and I'm having trouble with the dog and I'm wondering if you can help. And I would look at this and say, well, your first problem is that's a wolf. And they're both canines, but there's some pretty big distinctions that you want to take into account. And similarly, if somebody said, hey, we're having problems with our wild deer population, these are probably not the canines I would introduce to control that population. So while they're all kind of the same family, just like the tables in Power BI, there are important distinctions that really affect the solution and how you use those tables. And so what I wanted to do was revisit Ashton's question and then delve a bit into the differences between the tables you find in Power BI and show how that influences the way you handle them. So the question he had was, on the face of it, pretty simple, but there's a little more to it than there initially appears. And so what he had was a very small kind of simple data set that we can look at here that just has clients and then what type of fruit they purchased and the quantity, and then just an index number. And what he wanted to do was basically have a slicer with multi-select capability so that if he selected, say, orange, it would pull up all the clients who bought oranges, but it would also show what else they purchased. So we can, if we turn this off, we can see kind of the full data set. And we can see that these are the two, Joe and Mary, who purchased oranges, but they each also had an additional purchase. And so the first thing we know about this is this has got to be a disconnected slicer table. Because if it were a regular slicer, you'd hit orange and it would basically take out everything but orange in this. So we start with a disconnected slicer, and we also know because this is dynamic, we've got a virtual table issue. So let's delve into this a bit, but before we do, let's take a look at the different types of tables that we find in Power BI. And there are three types of tables that we find regularly. And the first one is the most common, and it's a physical table. And this is really your primary data. So whenever you do a get data or you enter data directly through this option, or in Power Query you do a reference or a duplicate, or you load data through a blank query like a date table, that's a physical table. And it's not fully dynamic, but it does have all these other characteristics that it increases file size because it is physical data. It's accessible in Power Query. Typically, the relationships in the data model are built through physical relationships. They don't have to be, but they usually are. Used for primary data, and you visualize it through either the data view or through Power Query. Now, kind of analogous to columns, so this would be a physical column. The one that often gets confused with a virtual table is this calculated table, or what we can also refer to as a DAX expression table. And this has direct analogy to calculated columns that are created through DAX expressions. And this is done through that, typically this modeling tab and the new table option. And then you enter the DAX expression. And this, as you can see from here, is quite different in profile from either the physical table or the virtual table. That it's not fully dynamic. It needs to be refreshed in order to pick up the new information. It does increase physical file size. Unlike a straight-up physical table, it's not accessible in Power Query. So if you, just like a calculated column doesn't show up in Power Query, a calculated table doesn't either. But it does possess the other aspects of a physical table. Typically, it's used for supporting tables, and it used to be used more commonly for debugging. There are now better tools like DAX Studio and Tabular Editor that we'll talk about. So it's not used as frequently for that. And frankly, kind of like calculated columns, it's generally something to stay away from, that there are typically better ways of doing things than through calculated tables. And you view this through the data view. And then the analogy to measures are the true virtual tables, that these are created in the context of measures through DAX measure code. They are fully dynamic, unlike the other two types of tables. They don't increase file size because they're on demand, that they're calculated just like measures. Virtual tables are calculated on demand in memory and only used over the course of context that they're needed for. They're not accessible in Power Query. You can't put a physical relationship on those. Typically, if you relate those in your data model, you do so using virtual relationships, most commonly treat as. They're typically used for intermediate calculations in measures. Intermediate because a measure can't return a table value. It has to return a scalar value. So you typically use those as the interim calculation upon which you generate your scalars that are the resulting product of your measure. And as I mentioned before, you can visualize these in tools like DAX Studio, Tabular Editor, or New Table, which is, again, probably the least desirable way because it clutters up your data model with a bunch of extra tables unless you delete those. So let's go back to Ashton's question, and let's explore this one a little more. So as we said in looking at this, because it is dynamic, and so if we look here and we make different choices, or we do multiple choices, so let's take apple and pineapple, we can see that this changes fully on the fly. And so because of that, we know that it's a virtual table because the other two are not fully dynamic. We also know, based on our previous discussion, that it's a disconnected table. So in previous videos, I've talked about this concept of rubber ducking, which is developing a conceptual solution to the problem before you start digging into the specific DAX. And so for the rubber duck solution here, what I did was basically put together this disconnected slicer table, and then harvested the value of those slicers, then came up with a virtual table that filtered clients by the clients who had purchased the selections in this disconnected table, and then took that client list and filtered our original data set by those clients to come up with the clients and the purchases made by those clients in addition to the slicer value. And so let's take a look at the specific measure to see how this played out and some of the considerations you have in working with virtual tables. So the first thing was to develop two harvest measures for our values. The first one being the value of the disconnected slicer, the slicer table that we developed, And because we had the multi-select in the requirement, it meant we couldn't just use selected values. So what we did is use values to capture potentially one or more selections in that disconnected slicer. For clients, since we're going to have one client on each row that we're evaluating, we can use selected value. So then the next thing we did is, this is a virtual table variable that starts with calculated table and goes into filtering the distinct clients by whether or not they made a fruit purchase that was in our values of the disconnected slicer. And we can check this out by doing a DAX query, and we can do that in either DAX Studio or in Tabular Editor. So let's go ahead and take our virtual table here. We'll just take this and just copy that over into Tabular Editor, into an open DAX query. And we'll just check out and make sure that's given us the values that we expect to see, which would be Joe and Mary. So we just paste that in. And just if you remember, DAX queries always return tables, and they always start with evaluate. So if we add that evaluate here and we hit F5, we're not getting anything in the result. And the reason for that is that right here in the selected disconnect fruit harvest variable, that has no awareness of the slicer because it's out of context. So the way to test that is kind of artificially setting that slicer value. And the way you do that is just create a small table with the squiggly brackets, and then you just type in what would be the value of that slicer. So that would be orange. And if we now hit F5, we get the result here, which is Joe and Mary. So that virtual table is working just exactly as we thought it would. So we can go back now to our measure expression. And let's find that here. Keep buyers. Okay, so now one of the challenging things about virtual tables is it's easy to create virtual tables within a measure, but you can't return a virtual table as the result of a measure. So what you've got to do is you've got to return a scalar, but that captures the relevant aspect of that virtual table. So the way I've done that here is we've got the virtual table that tells us which clients purchased the fruits that were in the value slicer. And then what we can do is we can set up another variable that says if the selected client was in that buyer's table, then it gets a 1, and if not, it gets a 0. And then what we can do is we can take the results of that and put that into the filter pane. So we take that and we drop that from the visual here into the filter pane. So the keep buyers measure, we say, is 1, and that's going to be the clients that purchased, in this case, oranges. And so by doing that, we filter our original data table down to the correct records. And so you can see that it's now creates that virtual table and does that filtering properly based on each selection. So that's really the bulk of what I wanted to cover today. A fairly straightforward virtual table example, but really with the focus on the difference between physical tables, calculated tables, and virtual tables. I do think there's a lot of interesting issues to revisit with regard to virtual tables, and particularly with debugging virtual table measures. So that's something I'll be coming back to within the next few weeks. But for now, that's what I wanted to cover today. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Enterprise DNA TV. If you enjoyed the content covered in this particular tutorial, please throw the video a like. It really helps us and we really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Enterprise DNA TV channel. We have a huge amount of content coming out all the time from myself and a range of content creators, all dedicated to improving the way that you use Power BI and the Power Platform. Lastly, check out Enterprise DNA's website. Plenty of resources and further learning that you can access very easily. All the best. Take care.